We'd like to welcome you back to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. We're with the one and only John Milton Wesley, a mentor, a Renaissance man, a man with so many stories. I think he's the greatest writer in Baltimore. You and R.B. Jones, I always pay homage
Yes,
to.
sirree.
Wicked ink pens.
Yes, hey, RB is one of my mentors too. I think you take that back. We're about the same age, but I just admire his work. You know, when I first came here, and I started reading the Afro and just other, I call them underground newspapers.
Here to Baltimore from.
Here, huh?
Here to Baltimore
Oh, I
from.
came from Mississippi. Moved here in '73.
Okay.
And just began to look around, and RB was just a kid then, but he was began to put his words out there. And then, of course, when I got to, came to know the Baltimore Times, and I think I really became familiar with his work there, and then the Afro first. So.
Any other people in this city who stand out as we talk about literature, news, journalists,
Oh yeah, well
periodicals?
hey man, I have to look at Charles Robinson. I go back and I look at Charles Robinson. Who has done so much. He's such an intelligent voice. Of course, Anthony McCarthy. When I look at what Anthony has done, and then Donnie, I have to look at you. And I just wrote something on your Facebook page a couple of weeks ago. When I realized that when you started doing what you're doing, when you started your Sandtown newspaper and you beginning to build platform after platform, and then to take Baltimore Be More News, once you lay the foundation, once you get the platforms, and then to spread it across the different platforms that you spread it across, in the process, to build a legend of followers where you can have the kind of hits that you have in the viral atmosphere, and also looking forward to you becoming a part of the press pool at the White House. That is just, I'm just so proud of you, and I look at that. And there's some others, I look at when I look at the Afro, of course, and I look at Be More News. The fact that that and the Baltimore Times, you look at the fact that we maintain these newspapers, man. And for African American
Why is
community,
that important?
well,
Black media.
black media, listen, people don't realize that everybody talks about Rosa Parks being able to do what she did when she refused to give up her seat. Well, how was it that in 4 days, without all of this media and all this other stuff, people were able to do that? The black press. Because black press for African American communities is more than just print newspapers and television. It's what they do with the phones. It's what they do on their one-to-one communications. It's what they start. It's what they start on the streets. So the black press is our last unopened parachute because see, it doesn't matter what happens in terms of mergers. It doesn't matter what happens in terms of how many black stations are bought up under the auspices that supposedly they are creating a black network and they hold them for a little while and they sell them to white networks and all of a sudden you got all this music and no black information. One of the things that is important for the African American community to have is information because, Donnie, in the event that there is a national emergency, you think about it, man. One of the reasons that the African American community in New Orleans was so impacted by Katrina was because their information resources were knocked out. They did not have sufficient information in their ways of gaining information in their community from sources that they trusted. I'm not talking about what they hear in the National Weather Service. It's one thing hearing on the National Services coming through, but if I hear on Be More News, listen, this thing coming through ain't gonna be your usual kind of thing. I talked to my cousin down in Maguchi, Mississippi, and it hit down there, and I think you ought to do something about it. People are gonna respond to that. People are gonna respond. Black press gives us an opportunity to listen to voices that we trust, that help us to make important decisions.
We've been videoing maybe 15 minutes. I have to allow you an opportunity to acknowledge your late godmother. Please do.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's always good to. I appreciate the opportunity. Her birthday was on October 6th. Sister Fannie Lou Hamer, and I think so much about her when I look at this last election. And one of the things that is so important, people began to count victories in small community elections. I look particularly at Baltimore County. I look at what Ken Oliver was able to do, to get back in.
By 87 votes.
By 87 votes, Donnie. Now, that's what I'm talking about. So when I look at things like that, and I realize the importance that she placed on working to get small numbers of votes, and then, Donnie, I look at people like Doc Cheatham. You got to look at Doc Cheatham here in Baltimore, former branch president, Baltimore City NAACP.
Registered more people
Registered
than
more
anybody.
people than anybody. And it was a process. It was an event. The election was an event. But what Doc Cheatham did was a process that comes right out of Fannie Lou Hamer's playbook. And that's what I'm talking about. When I look at it, man, the importance of that. And that's why this reapportionment thing is so important. I will come back to that, Doc.
The redistricting.
The redistricting piece. That's what I'm talking
Every
about.
10 years.
Every 10 years, at the end of the census. We're getting ready to do that. So we need to work with the League of Women Voters so that the communities become educated about where the lines are now. We need to know where the lines are now. So when time comes to redraw those lines, we aren't just hearing this for the first time. See, because now, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on around the redrawing of these lines on both sides. Because this is very, very important. The redrawing of the district lines this time is very, very important.
Well, we appreciate your support over the years. We have to pass the ball and allow you to plug your latest product, your baby.
Yeah, my baby.
You gonna pull it out?
Yeah,
You got one in your pocket?
Yeah, I got one in my
Pull
pocket.
it out. Let us see what it looks like.
Okay, I'm going to pull it out here and let you see what it looks like. Yeah.
Salvos.
Salvos. Now, salvos means to heal. It's the root word for salvation. And this is Salvos Part 1. I'll come out with Salvos Part 2 in February 2011 as I move toward the 10th anniversary of
Is this your first CD?
This is my first CD of my music, all written and arranged by me. I'm joined on it on piano by Eugene Chapin, who is from Baltimore. And he's on In My Arms Tonight, the first cut. And the incomparable Scott Taylor from Parliament Funkadelic is with me on 3 of the cuts on there. One, Turn Me On, and another one on Hanging Tough.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, it's
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's great to do that. And
what does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. The healing process was, so important, as I came through. But the fact that you will hear the influence of so many
and healing, going back possibly in part to 9/11.
To 9/11, the loss of my fiance, 9/11, Flight 77. And the people who contribute so much, people like you, Donnie, friends of mine,
Jesus,
I talk about Cherish, and I'm so happy. And I talk about how he helped me come back from that and gave me music, man. That's what he gave me, my music.
Theme of love in the CD?
The theme of love, man. One song people will probably like is It's Already Done. He had given me something I didn't even know I had it, Donnie. The first one is In My Arms Tonight. It shows gratitude. Cherish is also appreciation. Just showing appreciation. And then finally, the last song is Nothing Ever Comes Between Us, which talks about commitment. And these are things that help in the healing and build strong relationships. And that's what it's about.
We love you, John Milton Wesley.
Good to be here with you, man. Hello, Be More News audience.
But you got family all over the country.
I got family.
Including Denver.
Including Denver. I just played in Philadelphia Friday night, too, for the American Diabetes Association.
How can people get in touch with you, John Milton Wesley?
Oh, they can go online and my Facebook page, just John Milton Wesley at AOL.com, and my, even through Genman Associates. But go online, Facebook. Just hit me up on Facebook at John Milton Wesley at AOL.com.
The incomparable John Milton Wesley without a bow tie.
Good to be here with you, Donnie. Thanks so much, man.
We love you, man. Thank you very much.
Love you too.
Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.